Hi, I'm Joel.
And I'm Donald.
You know what? Sometimes when you're trying to learn about nature, the best place to start is in your library. So this publication, this is called the Missouri Conservationist, and it's published every single month by the Missouri Department of Conservation right here in our very own state.
The March edition is focused on crayfish. Here in Missouri, we have over 30 species of crayfish. Now, crayfish usually live in streams, ponds, or lakes.
But some of these crayfish have a special ability to get outside of those streams, but still live in the water. There are 7 species of crayfish here in Missouri that are known as burrowing crayfish.
Now, these burrowing crayfish dig tunnels up to 15 feet under the ground so that they can get to the water level because they have to live under that water.
I wonder if we have any burrowing crayfish at Little Creek.
Let's go take a look.
We are ready to head out on our adventure. We are going to be hiking to the Discovery Pond, and then from there, if we don't find anything there, we're gonna go to the Little Creek, which runs through the Little Creek, and look for more crayfish there. So we need some tools. What do you got, Donald?
I got a couple different types of nets here.
Sorry, I thought. Okay, so we have a couple different types of nets and some trowels. This is in case we find something and we want to try to dig one of these crayfish up. So we are ready to go. We have just arrived at the Discovery Pond. It's been really wet the last few days, so there is plenty of water here. Let's see what we can find. Okay. This looks like a burrow from a nice sized burrowing crayfish. Now, a lot of times when these crayfish burrow, they will actually they have to put the mud someplace. So they roll it up and they carry it to the top of their burrow and they pile it on top, forming these things like chimneys. And they're actually called chimneys. So we're gonna see if we can find some with a good chimney on it.
So here we found another little tunnel dug by one of our burrowing crayfish.
That's a pretty good sized one there.
All right, so I put my hand all the way to the bottom of the hole, and unfortunately, this one is empty. There's nothing sitting down there at the bottom.
So we didn't find anything at that last chimney that we investigated. We found this new one here. You notice where we're at. This is 2 holes. There's a large hole over here, and then there's a smaller hole over here. I'm guessing they're connected, but we'll see. We are right next to this mud pit. I mean, this is really sloppy around here. So if you're looking for burrowing crayfish, you're gonna look next to the water, not in the water. So that's where we're at. We're gonna get our hands dirty and try to dig down here and see if we can find this guy. Okay, so here's where we're at. There's a tunnel that goes back up that way, probably another entrance further up here. Then there's this big hole, another tunnel that disappears off to the side. We're gonna follow that one, see where it takes us. Unfortunately, despite our best efforts, all we found at this burrow was mud. Let's hope for better luck tomorrow.
Welcome to day 2 of our Crawdad adventure.
No, it's actually the Crayfish adventure.
Well, it's Crawdad.
No, I'm pretty sure it's Crayfish. Well, why don't you check? Is it Crawdad? Or Crayfish? Or Crawfish?
Or Mudbug?
Or does any of this matter? Yesterday was a complete flop. We opened up 2 holes and found nothing.
So today we dropped our nets, we dropped everything, and we're just bringing a shovel with us. See if we can get a little bit deeper in these burrows.
We're also moving to a different location. We're gonna go a little bit past the pond to where the pond overflows, and we hope to find some crayfish there.
Even if we're out here till midnight.
Let's go. Here's our new site for today. If you look up there, you can see that's the pond up there on the hill. So this is where the overflow from the pond runs down. And eventually this little tributary will run all the way down to the main little creek. And this is a prime location for looking for burrowing crayfish. Let's see what we find.
So here we have a real nice chimney. It looks pretty fresh. It doesn't look like the rain has washed it away. The hole's also pretty small. Hopefully that means that this crayfish isn't too deep.
Well, as you can see, this day has not been very successful. We did find one more burrow. This one, again, you can tell it's a fresh one. There's a fresh chimney here, and it's small, so that's the key. Hopefully this crayfish is in there and it's not too deep. There were 2 holes originally, this lower exit and then this upper exit where the chimney was. Once we dug down a little bit, we found a 3rd hole where the crayfish was digging towards the surface, but it didn't go all the way to the surface, so it's kind of a dead end. These 3 holes do all connect into one main tunnel. So we're gonna dig down there, see what we find. There it is. It took us forever to find one of these. This is not your typical crayfish. This is a burrowing crayfish, and we've learned a lot about them in this whole adventure. One of the things we always want to ask when we find a creature here at Little Creek is, how does it fit into the nature all around it? So what's its role in nature?
So the burrowing crayfish eats dead plants and animals, so he is a decomposer or a detritivore. So he's kind of like the garbage disposal of the ponds and of the streams.
But that's not all. See, these guys, they eat the garbage, they eat this dead, decaying matter, and then other organisms eat them. So they're sometimes called a keystone species because over 200 other species eat crayfish.
Not only do they provide food for other animals, but they also dig those burrows. And those burrows are used as shelter for other animals such as snakes, frogs, toads, and other insects.
Well, this guy has done great for us. I think it's time to get him back in the water and back to his house. He's got a little bit of remodeling to do. There it goes. So I certainly learned a lot from this whole adventure. One of the things I learned was it was surprising how hard it was to find the burrowing crayfish. I thought it was going to be a lot easier, but when the article said they burrow 15 feet down, I was a little skeptical. Now I believe it. Especially the big holes. The biggest challenge was getting down into those holes. We could not even get to the bottom of them.
They also branch out in a bunch of different directions, so sometimes it was difficult figuring out which way you wanted to go.
Well, it is not only time for that to get home, it is time for us to get home and time for us to start spring break. So we will see you next time.